Hello and welcome to the Success Stories series. Today I have with me Harsha Solanki, who has managed to score a CLB 10 in almost all the modules. So over to her. Please introduce yourself, Harsha.
Hi Sanjita ma'am. Hi, I am Harsha Solanki. I am from Navsari and I am currently working with a company named Numerator in Baroda.
All right. Can you please share your scores with the audience?
Yeah, so I've got 8.5 in listening, 8 in reading, 7 in speaking, and 7.5 in writing.
All right. That's a perfect CLB 10 in listening, reading, writing, and a CLB 9 in speaking. Amazing score. How did you manage to do this?
I like to say practice, and I applied all the strategies that were taught by the tutors in Prepav. So for listening, I made sure to practice almost all the Cambridge books because the actual question is similar to that.
Mhm.
And in listening, I think the main thing is that you need to be focused all the time because the audios aren't repeated for the second time. You need to be focused on each and every line that the audio is, sort of playing. And another thing is that I made sure to practice all the difficult areas that I used to be struggling with. For example, I used to find the maps very difficult, so I made sure to solve all the maps from all the tests, and then I sort of started taking the whole tests and practicing them. So for listening, I'd suggest to first focus on the difficult areas and then you can practice the whole test. For reading, I'd like to say time management is very important. So what I used to do is I used to keep a stopwatch with me, and I used to allocate time for each section. For example, the first section is a little easy, so for that maximum 10 to 15 minutes. After that, uh, 20 minutes, and then for the next approx 25 minutes. So that's very easy to sort of manage everything and all. And you should keep at least 5 minutes in the end to sort of check everything and to see if you've missed anything in the flow.
So
So
what if, let's say, in the second passage, you've allocated 20 minutes, but you were not able to complete all the 10 questions. So what would you do? Would you leave those questions, move to the next passage, or would you give yourself some extra time?
no, this thing happened to me during the exam. So what I did, I just skipped that section and then I jumped to the next one, so that in the end, when I get at least 5-10 minutes, I can quickly go through the questions and again search for the answers. Because if you keep on spending much time on one particular section, you miss out on the other part. So that's what I
Absolutely.
do.
Absolutely. So that's a great takeaway from the conversation, that never get fixated on one question for a long period of time, be it you're listening or reading. So if you're not able to get the answer of one question in reading, just move ahead. Come back to it later on in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Don't get over occupied and conscious about just one question. And if you do that, probably you'll miss out the last 5 questions because of lack of time. So do not fixate on one question. Perfect. Moving on to writing.
So writing was, according to me, the most difficult task because last year when I took academic, I struggled a lot and I scored 6.5, and this time I scored 7.5. So all thanks to all the all thanks to all the strategies and everything that was taught by you all. Because you can write essays and letters 100 times, but there's no point if you're not using proper strategies and everything. Because what's important is to consider what the examiner is expecting from the essay. You can write as many essays as you want, but there's no point if you don't understand what am I supposed to be giving to the examiner, what he is actually searching in the essay.
Wow.
So for that, you need to get your essays evaluated. And because that's when you'll understand your weak areas and the areas of improvement. For example, if you're struggling with grammar, you need to focus on grammar. If you are facing issues in sentence formations, so you need to improve with that. So that's very important to get essays evaluated and all. So I think Prepiv has a very amazing sort of strategy of evaluating essays and sort of adding what needs to be done and improvement areas and everything. So that's very helpful, very helpful.
Thank you so much. And you've literally taken words out of my mouth when you said that you don't have to practice 100 essays. You have to focus on getting the feedback and understanding the weak areas and the strong areas, and focusing on your weak areas a little more so that you strengthen those particular parameters. So this is something I more or less mention in every session that I take, every orientation, especially, that do not run after the quantity of essays and letters that you are getting evaluated. Focus on the quality. What is the feedback you are getting, and try to improve yourself on that particular feedback so that you don't make the same mistakes over and over again.
Exactly.
So I'm glad you understood that and you implemented that. Please spread
Exactly.
the
So
word around to your
even
friends
I
who are going to take the IELTS test. Yeah.
definitely. So I like to mention I got at least 10 no, to the max 10 to 11 essays evaluated and 5 to 6 letters. So you see, you don't need to keep on practicing and writing again and again. You just need to see the areas where you need to improve. So that's it. You don't need to practice more than 10 to 15 essays to get a
Absolutely,
score like this.
absolutely. I am a staunch believer of that. You do not have to unnecessarily complete all the Cambridge books, all the writings that are given there, all the questions that are given there. That's not required at all. Just focus on some 10, 15 writings and improve with each feedback. That's it. That's the moral of the story. That's all you have to do to improve in your writing. All right, let's move on to speaking. So you managed to score a 7 in speaking, which is again a great score. How did you do it?
So for speaking, all you need to do is learn the strategy of elaborating your answers. So that's what was taught by Yogita ma'am, that you need to apply the past, present, and future strategy. So that will give you a lot of time and a lot of content to elaborate your answers and stretch your answers for 2 minutes. Again, the next thing that I remember is, in case you get a little confused and you don't know what to say next, I was taught to stall the examiner. So in case you are a little confused and you don't know what am I going to say and you're just blank, so
Mhm.
keep on stalling the examiner by adding a few collocations or sentences like, okay, so I need to think, okay, so this is a tough question. So these sort of things, give a little time to you to think about the next sentence or the next point that you need to address. So this
So
is very helpful. Yeah. So that's how I did it.
So it's basically buying yourself time, just in case if you go blank, instead of staying quiet, articulate whatever is going on. So if you're finding the question to be weird, or you've never thought about it, instead of being quiet and blank, just say that this is an interesting question. I've never really thought about it. So this one sentence kind of helps you to process the question and come up with the points for the next sentence. So you can continue. So it's always better to say this sentence rather than just being silent, because that's awkward, and that would make you even more nervous, because now you're like, oh shit, there's a lot of gap, how do I cover it up?
I
So
agree.
exactly. So always articulate the silence as well. Whatever is going on in your mind, just express it, because ultimately they're not checking your intellect, they're just seeing how well you can express yourself in the English language. And even if you're saying, oh well, this is an interesting question, I have never really thought about it, you are expressing yourself. So you're saying something, you're not quite, so they have content
Yeah.
to evaluate you on. Absolutely perfect strategy, and that's the way to go ahead with it. Now, I would like you to tell the audience whether you took the paper-based test or the computer-delivered test.
I took paper-based test mainly because even though I deal with computers and laptops on a daily basis, I take a lot of time to adapt myself to a completely new system, and that makes you even more nervous. So, like, if you know that, okay, this is a new laptop, okay, so you get a little more nervous and confused. So that definitely affects your score and exams. So it's better to be in a little comfort zone of writing on a paper, because that's what we've been doing since school. So
Absolutely.
I chose this method.
Yeah, so anyone who's confused out there whether they should go with the paper-based test or computer-delivered test, the simple answer is go with whatever you're comfortable with. That's it. So if you're comfortable with typing at a fast speed and you're comfortable with all the devices and gadgets like a PC, then go ahead with the computer-delivered test. If you're not comfortable with technology as much and you prefer writing your answers down and you have a better handwriting, or let's say you don't have a good enough typing speed, then go ahead with the paper-based test. That's one very simple way of deciding which one to opt for, because apart from these one or two personal factors, everything else is the same, be it the type of questions, the complexity, the difficulty level, the scoring, everything else is absolutely the same in both your paper-based and computer-delivered tests. All right, Harsha, any parting words for the future aspirants, that the ones that are, preparing right now or are going to attempt their test in the next 10, 15 days? Any parting words for them?
Just stay positive. I was really nervous during the last few days and before my exam, and I kept on messaging Yogita ma'am and Lisansi ma'am that I'm really nervous. What am I supposed to do? And they were like, "Calm down. Just apply all the strategies and all the tricks that have been taught to you during the whole journey." And that's what I did. And especially on the last day, you're obviously going to be very nervous and very confused about the whole exam and everything, and about the results as well. So just stay positive and trust the teachers. They are just the best. And you're not going to fail, or you're not going to score less than you deserve. So all you need to do is just trust the prepev team, and that's what I did. And actually, frankly speaking, I was a little skeptical about enrolling with preppy, because the classes are conducted virtually. But now when I look back, I am really really happy that I took that decision and enrolled with preppy. All thanks to you. I don't think it would have been possible for me to score this good without the constant guidance and all the teaching and everything of the teachers, all the teachers, this Ansi ma'am, Yogita ma'am, Pavandeep ma'am for speaking. They all are just amazing, and thanks to all of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for such kind words. We are humbled, and I am glad that we could give you this wonderful experience that you can, share with other people as well. And I would love to help you out with your PR process, as I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. So I'm hoping that I'll be seeing you very, very soon in Canada, maybe in a matter of another 7, 8 months. So waiting for you. And thank you so much for joining Preppy. Thank you so much for trusting us. Thank you so much for giving us a shot in spite of all the apprehensions that you had. So thank you so very much for your precious time. Have a wonderful day ahead.
You too, ma'am. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.